Hi guys, it's Liz again. And I am so excited. I actually got my book today, and hopefully that means that you've received yours recently or that you're going to be getting it soon. Voting is coming up really quickly on us, and I wanted to touch base with you all again tonight about part of the con statement that's included here in the book this year. So, one thing that I want to touch base on is the statement of instead of moving to consolidate the middle school and high school with estimated renovation costs of $300,000 and estimated savings of $149,000 per year, the board approved expenditures of $1,861,895 for pre-K to generate savings of $9,000 per year. The building being renovated for pre-K is slated for demolition as part of the master plan. So, first and foremost, I want to encourage you to go to the district, actually review and look at the master plan. You can see the previous two master plans as well. Those plans would have come to our vote the last 2 years, and our voters decided against those two bonds. Again, those were brand new bonds that we would be taking on. The first one actually included keeping all of our buildings on both of our campuses and doing extensive renovation and updates to those buildings. The second one actually included the same dollar amount, but it was moving everything over to the new campus. So on that master plan, what you would have seen was brand new buildings, tearing buildings down. Now we're in our third version of the master plan, and that is what you're being asked to hopefully vote yes for this cycle. And with that, what you'll see is, again, you can see all three of them, but what you'll see with the current one is the master plan laid out. It's including utilizing all of our current buildings on the one campus rather than trying to keep both campuses or rather than trying to build new buildings. And what you'll find is that it's strictly asked for what was needed. There's no bells, no whistles, as I said before, no extravagance, as I said before. It's exactly what we asked the district to do in utilizing current buildings and getting everybody over to one campus in a safe environment that is exciting and appropriate for each of those grade levels. So please go out and look at those master plans. You'll also find that this year that ask to our community was cut in more than half because we are utilizing existing buildings and we're not at this time looking at doing any type of new builds. So when we look at this statement, after having hopefully encouraged you enough to go and look at those master plans yourself, what you will find is that moving the pre-K, our preschool, over into what is right now the district office is the phase one of that plan. And phase one actually is being paid for. That $1,861,895 that our con statement is pointing out here is being paid for by our district with funds that they already have. Part of that is from the sale of our Rosalie property. They found it incredibly important and impactful to get our younger students out of the temporary buildings that have become more permanent than temporary. There are significant safety issues in those buildings and also significant environmental issues in those buildings. We've had a lot of flooding. We had to do mold mitigation last year. We've had to work on heaters and boilers. It's really impactful to the bottom line of the district's budget to ensure that those temp buildings are no longer used as quickly as possible. They really have created some significant financial issues over the last few years in trying to band-aid to make them as safe and as appropriate as possible. So moving that preschool over into the district building is step one of the master plan, and that is not included in what's being asked of the bond money. So keep that in mind. On top of that, because you're now in the third version of the master plan, you will find that that building that the preschool is moving into is not slated for demolition. That is a previous master plan that is no longer the master plan that you should be looking at if you look at the most current version. So that is completely false. That building is not slated as part of the demolition of the master plan. The second thing that I want to point out with this is in regards to moving the middle school over into the high school. You'll find on the master plan that that is phase 2. Phase 2 is also being paid for by our district. It's not included in the bond money that you're being asked to vote yes for this cycle. And they will be moving that middle school over into the high school. At this point, there are plans in place for exactly what that's going to look like, the renovation costs for that, because again, it was built in 1998, 1999 as a high school. Our middle school students need things that are different than what our high school students need. So as part of that move over there, they're going to be doing slight renovation. The high school building is currently our youngest building, so there's not a lot of renovation that has to take place there. And by moving that over, we will be saving that amount of money. However, once the elementary school moves into the middle school, that is when we're going to be utilizing that building again. So that cost savings of $149,000 a year, I don't want you to get stuck on that. Really, what I want you to keep in mind is that by moving the elementary school into a renovated building that used to, at the point that this is done, used to be housing our middle school, that will actually be saving our district approximately $500,000 a year. Now, that comes from closing down the Deer Creek Elementary campus. Currently, by running 2 campuses, we are incurring those expenses. The district's having to pay for those expenses, and we'll get into at some point, I hope to do a video about the space, the actual square footage of the schools, and why and how we can better utilize that square footage. But until then, what I want you to keep in mind as you're reading through that part of the con statement is that we will be having an estimated savings by moving the middle school into the high school. That renovation is already being paid for. That's not part of the bond money. We are taking on an additional expenditure by moving the preschool into the district building. That is a huge renovation that's taking place currently. Again, it's something that the district is paying for. And that $9,000 a year in cost savings is actually just minimal in comparison to how much we'll save by putting everyone over onto the other campus. So, long video tonight, guys. Sorry about that, but I really wanted to address that little section in there because I think that what it does is it leads people to believe that the district is just moving forward with spending a large amount of money, a large sum of money to start these projects. None of that is being included in the bond, so I'm not sure why the con statement decided to include that. And it is part of our current master plan. So please, again, go out and look at that. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. I'm happy to point you in the direction that you need, or I'll get you answers. And again, feel free to share. Let's get the word out. Thanks, guys. Good night.